Bro, every time I lose to Lucci, bro, expect the tweet. I'm sorry. No, I don't want to get better. No, I don't want to learn the matchup. No. I'm a bot. All right, we bots have our pride too. All right. What's up, guys? Dark Show TCG here, back with another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit negative. I kind of just let my experiences and frustration with the format just reach a boiling point, and I'm just talking about how I feel about black decks, mainly the Moria reliant decks like Lucci, mainly in general. And I don't want this to come off as me like targeting any specific group of players or anything like that, but it's just me voicing my opinion and frustrations with the current format and the game at the moment. So if you're not here for that, you don't want to listen to me complain for about 10-15 minutes, go ahead, click off. But give the video a like, comment, or watch the video and then tell me why I'm wrong. Healthy discussion is always good. I love a conversation. At the end of the day, I don't want to argue anybody down. That's not my place. At the end of the day, bro, I'm just a guy on the internet. So take this video with a grain of salt or not, it's cool. More engagement is more engagement. Anyway, guys, enjoy the video. Have a good one. Also, there's some like audio issues towards like the latter half because I turned the gain down on my mic, so it's like very quiet and like some words you can't hear, but like I have subtitles like on the screen or whatever. Anyway, yeah, enjoy the video for now. Go watch the video. Go watch the video. Like I don't get how you can sit here and say Nami is like such an uninteractive deck. You're not even playing the game, it's solitaire, but sit and play removal decks that establish 4 units for 1 card while removing 2 of your units, and then say, okay, no, I'm interacting with my opponent, we're both able to play the game. Like the complaint from the Nami matchup is like the Nami player is playing the game only, right? While the other player is just like doing nothing except establishing board and getting ready to swing for their late turn. Like that's how they should be playing, right? Whereas with Lucci, right, the Lucci player is playing the game. The opponent is kind of still in that same position where like they're establishing their board, they're trying to swing, and if their board doesn't stick, then if their board doesn't stick, then they're not playing the game. You think you have choices, you think you have options, you think you have interactions, like, yeah, maybe I can freeze this Dawn, or I can freeze this unit, or I can just go wider than he can clear. And if he misses removal for 1 turn, then he's cooked, supposedly, right? Until he tops deck Moria, plays a blocker, remove 2 of your units. Whereas Nami, she's cooked. Like, okay, she's, I guess, more reliant on triggers. But, like, the Nami player genuinely has to, like, sit there, plot out their turns, and think. Because when you think about it, right, like, how many Nami turns are the same? Right? Like, you'll sit there and be like, okay, Nami played Kaya pass, all right? Or Nami, like, you can't sit here and tell me that you've seen the Nami do the same defensive play 5 games in a row. Whereas I can play against 5 Luccis, and I can count out on I can't count how many times they'll get their same combo off, bro. Ice Age Jack, Tempest Kick Jack, Rebecca Brooke Ice Age, Rebecca Moria, Rebecca Spandine, Helmeppo, Lucci. Like against Nami, it's like, oh, okay, love beam, gavel, Mildew, all right, boom. Snake dance, return this Kaya to hand, next turn play Kaya, plays that. Like you can't sit there and like typecast Nami the same way you can typecast Lucci, bro. I'm sorry. And then like Lucci is such a cool leader with such a cool archetype and such a cool deck, but Geckomoria and Rebecca just make it the same thing, bro. I'm surprised I don't have this tweet bookmarked. Like, bro, and then what a fun meta. 50% of the topping decks play Moria, and then the other deck is Nami. People just don't like Nami because they can't play around it, right? With Lucci, how can you really play around removal? Just how do you play around removal? You can say, oh, maybe I play a unit that'll force the removal to be more difficult for them, right? Maybe I can like as Bonnie, right? How do I play around removal with the limited options in my hand, right? If I have a 5 cost unit and then 2 Hodies and then a 10 cost unit, I'm on 7 Dawn. How do I play around the removal? Right? And that's the reality of this format, bro. I gotta make sure I bookmark that, bro. That's the reality of this format, bro. Like, dog, like I'm not just crashing out, bro. People will sit and tell you that like the deck is like so intensive. There's so many lines. There's this, that, and the third. Okay, boom. Let's say for argument's sake, right, that there are many different lines in Lucci, right? That you can choose to do something different, right? There are different decisions that you can make, right? Where does the decision breakpoint happen? After Moria, after Rebecca? Because those are the only plays you're doing. Like what other cards? And you have a Sabo, a Moria. You have a Sabo, a Moria, a 5 cost Kaku in your hand. Your opponent has 2 units on board. Obviously, you're gonna play Moria. You have a Moria in your hand. You have a 5 cost Kaku. Same situation. Moria, Kaku, Sabo in your hand, right? Opponent has 1 unit on board. You're still playing the Moria, popping 1 unit. You have the same hand, Moria, Kaku, Sabo. Your opponent has no units on board. You're still playing the Moria. Like on 8 Dawn, bro, 9 Dawn, you can play Moria. You're playing Moria regardless if you're like popping units or not. Like what complex board states and situations and scenarios that Lucci is facing on a daily basis. You feel me? I don't know. Like bro, I get it, bro. Like I can suck at the game, but that doesn't mean my opinion doesn't hold any value. You know? Cause I know people, bro, who drop Lucci, drop the game, drop the set, like just because like you're doing the same thing. I played a Lucci player the other day. One of my homies, bro, he's like, yeah, nah, man, I dropped Lucci. I'm playing the other Luffy deck because it's like, I know the other Luccis aren't better than me. And these are his words. He says like he knows the other Lucci players aren't better than him, and the deck is boring because he played it for like 2 sets. He played it for all of 07, and then 08 is just like 7.5 until the starter decks come out, bro. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We're gonna stop crashing out for a little bit, get into this next round. Continuing on this topic. One like gaslighty statement, another gaslighty statement I hear. Let me pause the music because I can't hear myself. Is that like, oh, this deck takes skill. I have to do math. I have to do, I have to plot out my lines and my turns, right? Every deck takes skill when you really sit here and think about it, right? Like what is like the least skill intensive deck you think there is? Like anyone, like not anyone in particular, but like you, like the viewer, thinks is the least intensive, like the least skill intensive deck to play, right? You'll probably think it's like an aggro deck, right? Or like Katakuri, decks where it's like and then your argument for why Katakuri is the least skillful deck is one that has triggers, which is like, okay, yeah, triggers aren't really a skill thing to some degree because you can play around triggers. Like you can put yourself in a position to play around triggers so that like you don't lose. However, it's difficult to put yourself in those positions if you're lacking in resources. So that's like it's a nuanced argument. It's not just, oh, position yourself better, forehead. The same thing can be said again about like removal and like black, like, oh, position yourself better, forehead. But it triggers, like you can play around triggers. You can count like their triggers in trash. You can say, okay, I lose here if this happens, so do I have another turn? If you can afford to have another turn, you can play around triggers. If you can't, then I'm sorry, bro, you got sacked. But it's a card game, it's variance. You could have, like, you triggering to the loss is just as much possibility as you drawing 5 bricks in your next game, and you weren't gonna win that game anyway, right? That's just variance, and that's the card game. But back to like the reason why category is like a skillless brain dead deck, right? Your other argument would be they do the same thing every time, right? They like, oh, play this on curve, play this on curve, 10 mom, trigger, right? What does Lucci do? Play this on curve, play this on curve, play gecko, play gecko, play gecko. But because there are more steps involved in how you make the game less interactive for your opponent, somebody will sit and say, oh, it's skillful. And I'm not taking away the skill of any players. Obviously, you have to be good enough. You have to be a good pilot to get results, right? But I don't want to sit here and say, oh, it's skillful, therefore it's not as degenerate as other decks, you know? When like that's not necessarily true, because like what determines degeneracy is like play pattern, like experience, player experience, right? And then another thing about skillfulness, you can argue that like Nami and BY Luffy are the most skill intensive decks in the game right now. But the reason why people don't play Nami over like Lucci is because Lucci is so powerful. It's the deck with the highest ceiling, providing you high roll, right? Because for Nami to high roll, she has to hit like 5 triggers in life that all say draw 2, you know? And you can't really rely on that. For Lucci to high roll, he just has to see two Ice Ages, 2 Tempest Kicks, 2 Morias, you know? And then like, you kind of like, you can low roll yourself by milling, but also by milling, you're setting up your trash for your Morias, you know? And then Lucci can win without Moria. It's not like Lucci is just like an uninhibited bite. He can win without it, you know? So yeah, that's like one of the points that, another point that I was trying to make is that you can't hide behind the guise of this deck is skillful, therefore it is not DJ. Because all decks take some degree of skill and pilot and mastery to play. And your argument that this deck is brain dead because it does the same thing can be also applied to, because this deck can do the same thing game after game. And for those who don't believe me, let's refer to Exhibit A. Nothing's new, nothing's new, nothing. Just saying, make one of these for Nami. Make one of these for Nami. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Tune in to follow me on Twitter, DarkShowTCG, for my almost daily black crash outs, my black deck crash outs. Peace, guys.